Yeah, man. Greetings, Rastafari, Haile Emperor, the King Selassie, the first, the perfect balance, EmpressMenen. This is first man for Rastafari Indigenous Village, recognizing, accepting, promoting Lion Voice. Yes, the voice of Rastafari, speaking about Rastafari, educating Rastafari, preserving, protecting Rastafari. Give thanks.
Aye,
Yes, I.
Rastafari, mighty.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
We had in Lebanon pagers, personal pagers that were exploding, killing people, detonated remotely, allegedly by the Israeli government. That first wave of pager attacks, and there was over, I think, 3,000 explosions, was followed by walkie-talkies and cell phones. The very next day, a next mass attack. What implications does this have for the global south buying Western technology? Some analysts are saying that this is going to be a fatal blow, that the global south was going to think twice before they contract with any Western affiliated countries for technology. This is a big opening for countries like China, and other countries in the global south to supply this need. So we're seeing a separation globally on the chessboard between G7 nations and BRICS countries. I take the position, and we take the position as Lion Pride on this channel, that the war has already started. So I thought it would be useful, because I'm building this community, the Lion Pride, that we lay out a plan of action, because one thing we are not lambs to the slaughter. We're not the victims that are going to watch these things unfolding and passively. His Majesty said we must act. So it starts internal. This is where Yeshua to I is so important when you're talking about the salvation of the soul, when you're talking about, you know, just going internally. This is where reading the teaching of Yeshua to I so important, and this is why I feel His Majesty taught that a soul without Christ is like a rudderless ship and all of these things. This is why he was saying these utterances, because when you study Yeshua, the Christ consciousness, you know what I mean, which has been spoken of in many cultures across many Iowa, millennia, countless millennia, iris of the Most High within flesh. You know what I mean? When you look at that chart, Yeshua to I is an exemplar, in terms of those parables, the word. This is how I know that Yeshua is real. But the repair of self, we have a lot of trauma in our community. We have a lot of mental illness in our community. We have a lot of things that prevent us from working together as productive brethren and sisters. So if you see the times and you want to be part of the solution, the first thing to do is work on self. If you have to go and get a therapist. And why is therapy important? Because your brethren and your sister don't necessarily need to listen to all of the things that will happen to you, and they're not trained to do that, and you unload that upon them. It's a whole heap of pressure that you put upon them brain. Number 3 is the creation of the economic base. So we're dealing with the economic base in terms of small businesses, creative ecosystems. We got to be earning. And within that earning, we got to be circulating the Rastafari dollar. This includes the building of Zion, with an emphasis on food, water security, construction, technology, everything that I said, you know what I mean? Because to build the alternative to Babylon, it requires competence. We want to convert all of the slums to garden, urban agriculture.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice,
the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Come be a part of history and experience the sharing of wisdom from some of the most brilliant thought leaders in our community. Come see Muda Baruka, Styles P, Nori Muhammad, Lawrence Haja, Dr. Dorothy Holly, DEJAZMATCH KWASI, Deborah Hines, and midwife Asasia impart their wisdom at Groundless with My Brothers and Sisters, a holistic health conference. A plant-based breakfast and lunch are included. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah. Set tunes of judgment to judgment. Tunes of the house of the great King David. I shall pray for the peace of Ethiopia. Robber Babylon a spy, Babylon a informer. Have a plan fi lock up all the youths them pon the corner. Me have a plan fi take the youths and move to Ghana. Build up Africa, link up with the farmers. Me a pre-peace more than the Dalai Lama. Can't trick the bingy man, even with Obama. How many youths them lock up for marijuana? How many shut up yo, who cause the drama? Gideon, spy verse spy, watch and peep and pure lie. TV program tap into Wi-Fi, Snapchat, Instagram, they put drones in the sky. That's why you gotta use your third eye. Hear the Most High, who made the birds them fly. The word, the sound, the powers inside. None of them punk can destroy the tribe, yo. Kendrick Lamar say, don't kill my vibe. Bingy man them down a yard.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress EmpressMenen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the DEJAZMATCH Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of the Lion's Voice. Welcome to the Lion's Voice, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story. Today's episode, we return to the topic of World War III, the Armageddon War, preparation, prophecy, all of these topics and how it relates to I and I. We have major breaking news on the international stage, the chessboard. Never before have we seen what we saw, which is personal electronics being used on mass scale as weapons of war. So what am I talking about for those who are unaware? We had in Lebanon pagers, personal pagers that were exploding, killing people, detonated remotely, allegedly by the Israeli government. That first wave of pager attacks, and there was over, I think, 3,000 explosions, was followed by walkie-talkies and cell phones. The very next day, a next mass attack. So the allegation is that the Israel created a shell company, manufactured these devices, got the contract from a Taiwanese company that was contracted. So this is, the spy. This is James Bond things we are talking about right now. They went and got the information that Hezbollah is contracting to get pagers because apparently Israel had hacked their phones earlier. So they were trying to get pagers going low tech to avoid the hacking and these things. Israel catch word, set up a shell company, got a contract from the company, which Asian company, and they put these bomb devices in all of the phones and pagers, walkie-talkies, all of these things. So it's caused mass destruction in Lebanon. And for those who are prophecy, when we talk about Philistia and Tyre together with Ethiopia, Philistia and Tyre, those are Lebanon sites, so, or Lebanese, sites. So this is the ancient land of the Phoenician, which were ancient black men who were known for their seafaring abilities, settled all along North Africa, great trading civilization. Tyre, Philistia, Lebanon, from the prophetic standpoint. Now, this, because all of us use cell phone. Bojo said, me no trust phone, me no own, me no like it. Him do a song. There was some off-key parts in the song, but we'll leave that. But the song, in hindsight now, is so prophetic. Because the very phone that you're carrying now, you're hearing potentially it can be used as a weapon. What implications does this have for the global south buying Western technology? Some analysts are saying that this is going to be a fatal blow, that the global south was going to think twice before they contract with any Western affiliated countries for technology. This is a big opening for countries like China, and other countries in the global south to supply this need. So we're seeing a separation globally on the chessboard between G7 nations and BRICS countries. And we can do a breakdown. We've talked about it before on the video. BRICS stand for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They've created a bloc. They've expanded to include Iran, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Ethiopia, and Egypt. So BRICS Plus is what's going on now. Many other countries have applied for membership in BRICS. G7 represents the traditional colonial countries, plus Japan. So this is the chessboard. This is how the chessboard for this global war world tree is lining up. And I take the position, and we take the position as Lion Pride on this channel, that the war has already started. So I thought it would be useful, because I'm building this community, the Lion Pride, that we lay out a plan of action, because one thing we are not lambs to the slaughter. We're not the victims that are going to watch these things unfolding and passively. His Majesty said we must act while events are happening, so that we can shape history. And we are extensions of Kadamawi Haile Selassie I. We are the goodie of Haile Selassie I. So I and I are going to put out 5 things in terms of a path to victory, because we remain confident in the victory. But there's 5 essential things I think need to be laid out clearly, and I want input. This is but the Lion Pride we're gonna build by consensus. So I want input. I'm a curator. Remember, I'm here because of the strength, not just of myself, but I have an economic engine, which is the Lion Pride on Patreon. These are brethren and sisters across the world that are funding what you see here, all of the content. I reasoned with a brethren the other day, and he was giving thanks, that we have created an archive that was Haile culture. Powerful interview on the live, one of the most pure creatives I've come across. I know a few of them, man like Bomani Arma, man like Jabari Exum. I know a few brethren that I consider pure creatives, and highly culture fall into that Ras attitude, entry, the artist, big up yourself entry. Certain man I know that are just pure creative, they can just anything, them just do it with a creative flair, them just have that gift. And Ras highly culture is one of them brethren. As a matter of fact, let me just share a little piece for the item because it was so powerful.
I'm going to give my producer a time. All right. So before we go into this, I want to just big up the Lion Pride on Patreon. I know that the item see the special features. We're using a platform called StreamYard, the paid version. And this is the kind of thing that Lion Pride on Patreon is assisting with to make sure we think don't look shabby. You understand? We can have multiple screen power thing. And we're going to be doing more of this type of programming where we can look at videos, we can comment, we can do reactions, we can get guests to highlight what they're doing. So explain what we're looking at here, Congo Haile.
Yes, my brother, give thanks, Aya. Yes, Aya, this is one of Iman illustrations. Initially hand-drawn, it's a mixed media art piece when it's mixed with the hand-drawn art, likewise with the graphic designs. Yeah, man, I put forward this in a series of art, which we have it in a kind of contemporary form. Brooklyn, New York is a artful city, likewise, just like Ethiopia, where it's surrounded by street art and so forward. So one may see the influence and in such I have a kind of art that a lot of the young generation are inclined unto. So I are satisfied with such, I wanted to make it more, palatable for that younger generation to even them to incline unto His Majesty and, become acquainted with that standard. Yes, I am.
This was one of the pictures that made I ask the eye if they know how to deal with animation, because the character design, the art style, this looks like it's coming out of an animated film, you know what I mean? In terms of how the eyes drawn the king. And this is why every time I talk to this brethren, I say, brethren, go learn the animation, make we done them right now, because look at this. The details, the simplicity, I wish we could make it bigger, but ones can go to the eye, Facebook, follow the eye on social media. Some of these eye tricks are available where the item can, more closely. We have the information on the ticker tape screen below.
Mighty. You can see what I'm talking about. I creating an archive here, but again, we are action. I'm an actionist. That's part of my title, part of the branding, meaning that we take action. Part of the reason that the item are seeing Rastafari independent non-aligned media in this way is because I saw that there was a need. Big up all of the Rastafari independent non-aligned media and platforms that are bringing Rastafari message. I just discovered another platform, Sela Media. I just come across the brethren, them 104,000 subscribers. They've been doing work. I thought DEJAZMATCH was the number one, but these brethren, over 7 years, they've been online, putting out content, Rastafari related. Them man, they deal with Yeshua, you know what I mean? But them still get there through His Majesty. So I would still consider the ones them as Farai ones, 12 tribe, similar fullness. As long as ones are citing the divinity of His Imperial Majesty, I include them within the family, the umbrella of Rastafari. And then once you don't see the divinity, then you just become a Pan-African brethren. You know what I mean? You're just a brethren of the Pan-African. Still know the vision. It's just that you don't fall under the umbrella. So I look at Sela Media, I'm listening to brethren, them reasoning. And I still Far Eye ones, you know what I mean? So big them up and go check them out, you know what I mean? If you're not familiar with Sela Media, 104,000, the man them have a massive platform. So big them up. We'll see if we can get them on this platform so we can reason and hear their story. Alright. The fullness is that the world has changed, family. The fullness is that it will never be the same. This outside third party having the ability to turn your electronic devices into weapons of war underscores the need for self-determination, for African technology, African STEM emphasis. Big up Ras culture. My brethren who is a civil engineer, you know what I mean, structural engineer, always talking about the STEM. I'm going to have to get the brethren on the platform. But we're going to be talking a lot more about STEM because when I see these things, that's how my brain works. I'm big up Sister Fanai, Rastafari TV. Always said to we need our own servers, you know what I mean? Yes, because we're here on YouTube doing things, but we need to be able to have everything direct. That is Rastafari, own operated satellites, everything, full scope, full spectrum, because I think is the highest within I manifestation. So we're not to lack. That being said, we have to be very real right now because the earth is becoming a very turbulent place. A lot of upheaval. We're moving out of the industrial age into the information age. As Dr. Knife says, we're moving out of the Piscean age into the age of Aquarius. You know what I mean? The spiritual and the physical are becoming one. You know what I mean? Combined. So right now we have to be very clear in terms of our trading. And so I thought it would be useful. I'm going to lay out 5 things in terms of a path for victory, the victory of good over evil for Rastafari. And I want this to be an active reasoning within the Lion Pride. If I'm missing anything, put it in the comments. If if we tighten it up, because we're going to tighten these things up, I'm going to make sure it lives on the Patreon, and we're going to develop these things because this is going to be kind of the mission statement for the Lion Pride in terms of what it means to be the Lion Pride. Because as we grow the platform and once joined, we want to start something profound, that revolution, that resistance to the war and violence and the negativity that's happening right now. And there are some certain basic steps and principles that I, as Rastafari, Pan-African family, need to adhere to. So we're going to talk about that. But before I do say that, let me first just big up the Lion Pride. Big up the Lion Pride. If you're new to the platform, welcome. I know what you're asking. How do I become a part of the Lion Pride? If you subscribe, you are part of the Lion Pride. We're almost over 16,000 views in the last 28 days. By the time this airs, we will have hit 6,000 subscribers. So I know a lot more people are viewing than I have subscribed. So if you just watch and you have subscribed, then you can still be part of the Lion Pride. You will just be part of the Watch and Peep Lion Pride. That is the newest segment that we have named. Those are the people who watch, don't comment, they don't say anything, but they are watching. And I say from the book of Enoch that the watchers are the angels. So we big up the watchers all of the time, important part of any content creator ecosystem. And then you have the peepers. The peepers are just there to see when your thing will pop down. America, they call them the haters. In Jamaica, we call them bad mind people. Big them up. They are an important part of the ecosystem. They'll spread your content through word of mouth, and other people will come, and some of them will become watchers. But we reserve a special place for the brethren them who comment. Let us know where you're commenting from. I'm not seeing enough love from my Nairobi family. We get 2 comments from Kenya, but I'm seeing in the analytics that Kenya is dominating the analytics. I start to see Libya showing up in the analytics. I don't even know, say Rastafari there at Tripoli are ones who watching the content. So if you're watching in Libya, I'm asking the item to post a comment and become part of the Action Lion Pride. All right, now is a good time for the comment of the strong. This comment comes from Mama Ifia 2620, commenting on our Growing Up Rastafari episode live. This brought joy to I and I heart. Mama Ifia is an alumnus of the Lion Voice Network. If you haven't seen her interview, watch it, and we're going to bring her forward to talk about some other things. But she says, Aishi and her family were always a family in Rastafari that my Rastafari family grew up with. From Shia Baby, I and I are Chad. I and I being an existence. So I chose this as a comment that is strong because this is the response I wanted to elicit from the second generation Rastafari around creation. I know that the panelists I chose are very well known by those who are born and raised in Rastafari, and I knew that hearing them give such a transparent account would spark something, and I was correct in this comment. So this comment of the strong, big up yourself, Mama Ifia, big up all of the Nyabingi family. I, as ones know, Chad within the order. I have an order of the Nyabingi also. I'm a family them. I give thanks to see that they're tuning in and supporting Lion Pride movement. So this is the comment of the strong. Make sure that you are commenting. I want to see from all of the Action Lion Pride comments on the videos, and let us know where you're commenting from, not just for I, but so other people in the Lion Pride know. Building an ecosystem means that it's a living, breathing thing. We're not just creating a platform. We want a lively platform. It means that we need wide participation. So big up. You may be the comment that is strong next strong. So make sure you comment, you like, and share. Perfect love. Who are the Action Lion Pride? Those are the people who comment, who share, who like. They're helping us to push the machine. They may not have the economic resource to join the Lion Pride on Patreon and give a $5 or $10 or $25 a month, but they are actively helping us to push this platform forward. They see the vision, they see the value that we bring to the table. So big up the Action Lion Pride, and then we have to big up the Ubuntu Lion Pride, which are the man them who $50 or more US, one time or multiple contributions. Them man, they just come in when them come in, but them know say, yeah, they're Lion Pride, them love the works, but they're not gonna necessarily be on a monthly subscription. And then we have the Lion Pride on Patreon. That is the economic engine, that is the inner circle, that is the ones who see the vision and invest in the vision. The only way we stay independent truly is when we are audience crowd funded. So I'm asking at least 100, because I know the core of this platform is about 100 fire angels. I'm not even talking to the 6,000 right now. I'm talking to the 100 that the item love and love the works, and you know what I mean. I know, I feel, and I hear the love from the item. I'm just asking the item, just consider $5, $10, so that we can scale this thing and really put the time and energy into it. We want to start to travel and visit Rastafari communities and works, and to be able to provide assistance, but also to document the works that are happening in the different regions, to bring it to the item. So it's a collective fullness to get Rastafari media up to first world standard. And we have over 800 pieces of content on the platform already, so our work product should speak for itself by this time. So we're asking ones, $5, $10, invest in the future that the item want to see. The best way to ensure nothing positive happens is to do what we have been doing and just continue on our individual paths. We are saying this is a new day. Armageddon is here. You know what I mean? We're seeing it. Unprecedented events happening daily now. And you know what I mean? Time is gliding on. The voice of Africa still calling. So we have work to do. So that is what we're doing. And while we're doing it, we'll be using Rastafari products. We'll be supporting Rastafari businesses. Ramia King Design. Big up Ras LIDJ, sponsor of the platform. Big up Seamas Life, Wally Kings, Ras Wulde, Phil Potts. Big up yourself. We have a new logo courtesy of Wally King's design. So check out the new Lion Voice Network logo, where, as you see, we're investing. We're slowly building out the ecosystem as we can. But you're going to continually see upgrades. The more that the items support the platform, the more upgrades and the more positive. I'm working on some very powerful reasonings and outer views and panels and concepts. So really, I'm just asking the family to support the vision. Don't just watch the vision, support the vision. But big up everyone in the Lion Pride, same way, 6,000 strong and growing. We're trying to hit 10,000 by the end of this Roman calendar year. We're trying to get 100 Fire Angels in the Patreon. I did an episode on failure because I failed to do it by Ethiopian New Year. And if I have to do a failure episode January morning, I don't mind do it because I'm accountable to the audience. But please, audience, don't make I have to do a failure episode January 1st. Come support the Patreon. We have 17 Fire Angels in there right now. We were up at 18. We dropped down to 12. We keep moving, keep working. We're forward up to 17. We're moving toward 100. That is the goal by January 1st. So help us to achieve that. And we are moving toward hopefully 1,000 by the end of the Ethiopian New Year next year. So we are moving. All right, housekeeping out of the way. Let us get into the 5 things that need to be done. This is the Lion Pride path to victory. All right, and I want the input of the Lion Pride. We're gonna craft these so that anyone coming into the Lion Pride, we have a protocol. This is where we're building now. Community, collectivity, and my Lion Pride on Patreon. Feel free to help shape this process, because we're creating the pathway. Because again, we don't want to be watching these events in the news and feel passive. We're going to work, come home, burn a spliff, go to work, come home. That you go a dance, you go a stage show. That is not Rastafari in this time. That is called lamb to the slaughter. That is called waiting, mark of the beast. That is called not having situational awareness. And I have to be making preparation. This repatriation, it's the great call, it's the fall of Babylon. All of these things a man a sing about and chant about. You think that the word sound wasn't going to manifest? Well, it's manifesting. The power was there. So now is where we are going to find out who is who are the real revolutionaries, you know what I mean, and who were the hobbyists. This is the time we are going to find all of them things out. So I want to have a clear pathway because my thing is not in a theoretical, you know what I mean. Anyone who know I know, I love the mystical, but my thing off a practical because we chat it, you know what I mean, with real life. So we're gonna talk about it, and I want the comments in the comment section, Patreon, if you want to put it there, and we'll shape it, and then we'll finalize it, and this will be our marching orders as the Lion Pride when we step in, everybody on a same energy. So number one step for the Lion Pride is repair self. So it starts internal. This is where Yeshua to I is so important when you're talking about the salvation of the soul, when you're talking about, just going internally. This is where reading the teaching of Yeshua to I so important, and this is why I feel His Majesty taught that a soul without Christ is like a rudderless ship and all of these things. This is why he was saying these utterances, because when you study Yeshua, the Christ consciousness, you know what I mean, which has been spoken of in many cultures across many Iowa, millennia, countless millennia, Iris of the Most High within flesh, you know what I mean. When you look at that chad, Yeshua to I is an exemplar. In terms of those parables, the word, this is how I know that Yeshua is real, because if you look at the historical record before, and then you look at the word sound he uttered, and then you look at the impact, literally changing iration. We take for granted some of the word sound of Yeshua, or some of the parables, or some of the wise mind, which is really Yeshua was taking the knowledge from the mystery schools of Kemet and Sumar and all of these Asian societies and making it plain for the farmers, using farming analogies, simple, breaking it down. That's how we know, again, that Irids are the Most High to make the hard things plain. But the repair of self, we have a lot of trauma in our community. We have a lot of mental illness in our community. We have a lot of things that prevent us from working together as productive brethren and sistren. So if you see the times and you want to be part of the solution, the first thing to do is work on self. If you have to go and get a therapist, and why is therapy important? Because your brethren and your sister don't necessarily need to listen to all of the things that will happen to you, and they're not trained to do that, and you unload that upon them. It's a whole heap of pressure that you put upon them brain. Hire a therapist. These people are trained. You go, you sit down on a couch, you reason your problems them, and you get to think about it. It's not even for them necessarily to suggest things. It's just for their eye to be able to block it out and to, process. And they will ask you questions that help you to process some of these traumas that took place and maybe give you some strategies to deal with it. We need to deal with these things, family, because the trauma response is fight or flight. And what we find is that when we come together to do the work, is either people are broke fight or them take away themselves, which would be the flight. So we need to heal the trauma. So number one is repair self, and I'm advocating therapy, and I'm advocating that we have young people that go into therapy, because we need it from a Rastafari perspective. A lot of our elders were doing this work informally on the campsites, but we don't dwell on campsites like that anymore. So we have to now create the institutions that will facilitate that. Until we have our own institutions, we're advocating ones go and see. But whatever that looks like to the eye in terms of repair of self, right now, as the world is falling apart, don't panic. start with the repair of self. Read the autobiography. Read the prophecy, the Bible. Read other books. You know what I mean? Ground yourself in something so that you can hold that discipline as well in terms of your spiritual advancement. You know what I mean? Read different spiritual texts. Ground yourself. Read the selected speeches, most importantly, so you have a anchor that keeps you, upon a practical foundation. Selected speeches, autobiography, critical for this time to stay. We do have the IDOR study group. Big up Anniversary Development of Rastafari study group every other strong. It will be taking place actually tonight as this is happening, as this is premiering study group. If ones are interested in becoming a part of that study group, let me know. Send me a comment. Reach out and let the item know how you can become a part of the Anniversary Development of Rastafari study group. Is study the selected speeches, but that is important. Healing thyself. So that's number one. Number two is we have to repair the family. The building block of a nation is the family. So once you repair self, then brethren, go find a helpmate, sister, and find a king man. Let us get the families them forward together so we can raise strong Rastafari youths, and we can build that base in terms of human resources to do the work that's required. So building self is number one. Two, let us rebuild the family. Number three is the creation of the economic base. So we're dealing with the economic base in terms of small businesses, creative ecosystems. We've got to be earning. And within that earning, we got to be circulating the Rastafari dollar. I'm about to join some Patreons of some other content creators. I'm going to start slowly, but I'm going to join another Patreon because we want to practice what we preach. And just like I asked them to support, I have to support the next one. So we're going to be doing that. We'll have some more information on that moving forward. Stay tuned for that. But economics, the economic base, and the emphasis has to be on self-reliance. So as we build this economic base, we need to be thinking futuristic, meaning that we need to start offering scholarships in STEM courses, because like we say, you see how they hack the technology. So that shows that groups that are not liked can be attacked through their technology. All of us have become technology dependent. We also have to have training in our ancient way of life. So the Ras them, the bird eye and brethren them that went up in the hills, that was of value because they learned to live without the technology. So we need to preserve that as well, because if the technology crash or is compromised, we still need to know how to live without the technology. How do we communicate without the technology? You know what I mean? How can we devise methodologies and things that are innovative, that rely on the ancient, preserve the culture? You know what I mean? And these things. So these are things that number three, the creation of an economic base. So you'll hear us talk a lot about economics as a lion pride. And that is why, because to exercise power requires economics. We are also looking at certain industries within that economic development. The digital content creation, massive. Food and water security, massive. Technology, massive. You know what I mean? So these are the areas that we're looking on in terms of strategic investment, construction as well. These are the areas that we're looking at always in terms of the economic development piece, putting that together. All right. So number four is a repatriation plan. So within everything, for the Lion Pride, and I know enough of the Lion Pride is already on the continent. So it's going to look, the repatriation plan is in two phases. The phase is training, and then we have reintegration. So for the Lion Pride in Kenya, Uganda, all over, the item have to be preparing. How do you reintegrate with the family that's coming from the West? How can we work with the family in ways that we can even create some economic opportunities for each other, where we can invest the foreign currency on the ground in Africa, and vice versa. So that training in terms of learning the technical skills to go into the industries that I named: construction, food and water security, technology, all of these industries that we named before. All of it it's holistic, so there's overlap in all of these things as we're doing. But that's the vision that we have in terms of the Lion Voice Network. And as I've been very clear from the beginning, our vision is to create a production studio on the continent in Ghana. So if you can see what Tyler Perry has done, 50 Cent does do, they build these big studios to create content. We want to build a studio. It probably won't be that big to start, but we want to build a production studio to create content specific for Rastafari, because as we move into the future, we have to be preserving our story, telling our stories, whether that's in the animation form, and that's why we were talking to Haile Culture. We're going to be working on things. You see the brethren artwork, it look like an animation. I have other brethren who do deal with animation, who I'm going to be bringing on the platform, but we need to be dealing with them things there. Blockbuster films, proper documentaries, properly produced content for our future, you know what I mean? But we also need our own servers. We need to own the technology. We need to create our own cell phones. We need our own satellites. We need to make our own solar panels. The technology is crucial. So training, big part of repatriation, and then the reintegration. What are the programs that are going to help us to break down the tribalism and to work with our brethren and sisters who are already on the ground? We cannot minimize reintegration. I'm going to be reasoning with my brethren Dingishan. We did a reasoning. We touched on that. That's coming up. Get ready for that in October. We're fully loaded, family. Just work with us. How many people have seen the Raskabinda episode, the legend of Desmond Trotter? Powerful. And Raskabinda was even one of the ones who sent me something about the cell phone explosion that inspired I to make this episode, in terms of the importance of self-reliance. So big up Raskabinda. Make sure you go over and watch that episode, The Legend of Desmond Trotter. The brethren is a legend. Now tell the item. And then, all right, finally, number 5 part of the vision is the Rastafari Global Development Plan. This includes the building of Zion with an emphasis on food, water security, construction, technology, everything that I said, you know what I mean? Because to build the alternative to Babylon, it requires competence. We want to convert all of the slums to garden, urban agriculture, which has become, we come from the diaspora where we saw the ghettos be gentrified. We saw them turn slums into luxury accommodation. So we have that implanted. We can take that home and help our brethren and sisters transform these slums into gardens, because there's no reason that ones can't be growing food in an aesthetically pleasing way, sourcing materials that are natural, that can be preserved, instead of some of the thing and with the right funding, and I can start going on the continent, transforming slums to gardens, having our youths them in universities, having our own Rastafari universities, training our youths in technology, in all of these fields, building buildings that would make Wakanda proud, in terms of Afrofuture, you know what I mean, the Afrofuturistic vision, building that out, what that looks like, the Zion on earth. These are the things that have been tasked to this generation. And that is what I and I as a Lion Pride, these are the things that bring us joy. So if that sounds like the I and you're a watcher and you have not subscribed, subscribe. You found your tribe. This is what we're all about here. Is the building of Zion on earth. Is that manifestation of seeing Rastafari in the fullness of its glory. I've been talking with brethren and sisters about rebuilding the entire music industry, reggae music industry around a Rastafari foundation. Meaning that, you know, from venues to booking agents to record label to publishing company, we've set up the infrastructure to deal with Africa and the rest of the world the right way. We learn from the mistakes in the West, you know, where we don't own the industry that is one of our main exports, and we correct it at home. You know what I mean? Them thing the Lion Pride I deal with. So if that sounds like the eyes, then you're here at the right place. You're with the like minds. This is the manifestation that we plan to record and to unfold. If you want to hear some gossip and some this is not the platform. You probably don't want to be here. So that is what we're saying. Armageddon is active. Cell phone I explode. Page I explode. Walkie-talkie I explode. You know what I mean? Missile strikes, you know, because I'd even talk about after the explosion, missile strikes. Israel massing troops on the border of Lebanon. They're saying this war going to push. And we're still waiting on Iran to lick forward Israel, which I think they're not going to do till after the BRICS conference in Kazan, Russia. That's coming up mid-October, which is one of the most important meeting of world leaders in the modern era. Keep your eye out for that. So the chessboard is fully loaded. But again, as Rastafari, we're not going to be passive observers just sitting down and watching the lamb to the slaughter. We are the lion come to conquer. That means that we have to work, put action, and I'm holding the brethren them particularly responsible. Repair self, join I and I on the battlefield, make we stand up, make the Empress them proud. Me have Rastafari sisters saying they feel like they have to take this up on them shoulder. I don't feel good, and he's not one of the brethren that boost them and say, yes, sister, no. I feel a way that the brethren them, make the daughter them feel like they cannot, you know what I mean, be within their feminine helpmate, that they have to go take the front line, stand up front of the brethren them, and do the work, you know what I mean. So brethren, make we get ourselves together. Sisters, continue to shine, you know what I mean, continue to do the work. Make I and I forward together in a oneness and do what we have to do, because the time is dread and the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion's Voice.
Lion Voice. Yeah. Set tunes of judgment to judgment. Tunes of the house of the great King David. I shall pray for the peace of Ethiopia. Robber Babylon a spy, Babylon a informer. Have a plan for lock up all the youths them pan the corner. Me have a plan for take the youths and move to Ghana. Build up Africa, link up with the farmers. Me a pre-peace more than the Dalai Lama. Can't trick the bingy man, even with Obama. How many youths them lock up for marijuana? How many shut up yo, who caused the drama? Armageddon, spy versus spy, watch and peep and pure lie. TV program tap into Wi-Fi, Snapchat, Instagram, they put drones in the sky. That's why you gotta use your third eye. Hear the Most High, who made the birds them fly. The word, the sound, the powers inside. None of them punk can destroy that tribe, yo. Kendrick Lamar say, don't kill my vibe. Bingy man them down a yard say, earthquake and landslide. Babylon a groom, don't want no bride. Lock it up in a room, them a plan and a hide. Babylon cruel, them want fit rule and divide. In the school, them got the youth hypnotized. Evil and the wicked man, them soon collide. None of them can stop the sweeping tide.